Yeah, welcome to my channel. I'm not sure, to be honest. I mean, I didn't get a chance to watch the Singapore race. Unfortunately, kind of sucks. No, well, I was kind of sick, unfortunately, but this is one thing where we knew McLaren was going to win. I mean, like, it was a wholehearted defeat, uh, or not defeat, but wholehearted win. How this, I mean, let me start over by saying I think it's a bit of a surprise seeing the way McLaren won or how much they won by is really massive and surprising. I mean, we thought for sure at least Ferrari would be up there, Red Bull close to it in a ways, but quite honestly, I don't think anyone saw that McLaren would win by this much, honestly, and that the Mercedes would be like number two. Honestly, everyone probably thought it was going to be Ferrari, maybe Red Bull, depending. Sonoda coming up, being in the second seed, but it looks like they can't find anyone. For Red Bull can't find anyone to basically stay with Verstappen to basically keep the team close in that aspect. Mercedes was a little bit for us, as I said. Ferrari, we honestly thought that Ferrari was probably going to be the closest competitor, similar to Red Bull, but not by this much. The one thing though is Ray Williams at number five right now. It looks like they're going to get number five. That's a bit of a surprise in and of itself because, like, let's be honest. I think we all thought that Aston Martin for sure was going to be up there. Maybe Alpine, but most likely for sure Aston Martin. Problem is that they're not, and Papa Stroll's got to do what he's got to do because like his team is not going to get up there. Anyways, I think what we're saying it's the drivers' championship between Piastri and Norris. You're going to see a repeat of like what happened in 2015, 2014. Yeah, 2014, 2015, basically, where it's going to be a massive battle between these two. Right now, they are copacetically friends, but reality is like what's going to happen is towards the end, if it's going to be this close, they're going to be at each other's throats. They're going to be like taking digs at each other, probably publicly eventually. Right now, we didn't see that. I mean, let's be honest. Norris, what he did, it was impressive. It was impressive, but at the same time, could have taken Piastri out, and he probably was looking to do that honestly, because like he needs to catch up. He's down by 22 points. He needs Piastri to like not finish for the next two races at least, and of course Norris needs to win the next two races for him to have at least a comfortable lead. But reality is I mean you still got what's his name with six races remaining. You still got Verstappen. I mean like surprisingly, I mean he's like 63 points behind. Four wins in a row. If he can get four wins, not podium, but four wins, he has a potential of catching up at that point. Quite honestly, I mean, like that's 100 points right there. I mean, and if you could get Piastri and Lando to finish fourth, you he has a shot of winning this, honestly. But it'll be interesting to see how that works out. Honestly, I mean, Russell. Let's be honest, Russell's not going to get up there. I mean, even if he wins the next six races, he's not catching these guys. Forget about Leclerc and Hamilton. Hamilton, I don't know what's going on. Maybe next year we'll see something better. But the thing is between Piastri and Lando in these next six races, specifically looking what's going to happen in Austin, chances are I think probably Verstappen, depending what happens, I think Verstappen probably should be able to win that race. Question is who's going to come second and third. If Russell can come in second, and Leclerc probably could come in third, or maybe Hamilton himself, that gives Max a good shot at going for that championship. But reality is I honestly thought Piastri by now should have had a commanding lead, or well, not commanding lead, but at least over 70-point lead, basically, not a 22-point lead. The fact that Oscar and Lando are going at each other's throats. I mean, I don't know what McLaren's management is doing, but they're trying to say it's like, yeah, let it race, because like they've already got the championship. So now it's a matter of like, all right, you know what? Now they're gonna let them race. Problem is something's gonna happen. It's gonna cause issues, and what's gonna happen at the end of this race is they're both gonna come back to McLaren. Is like, who's the number one? Who's your number one driver? And who's the number two? They're gonna come back, and it's I hate to say it, but Zach's gonna have a big issue at that point. Zach's gonna have a huge issue on his hands if both of them come in. He's like, well, you're both the same. We're treating you both one. But then it goes, what? Who's 1A and 1B? Because you don't want to be B, you want to be 1A. So we're going to see a big issue with that. Look for Red Bull, Lawton and Sonata. I mean, I don't know why they can't do what they can do. Honestly, I think if Sainz had been there with Red Bull, but the problem is with Sainz and Max, there's no love there. There's a huge animosity. They would never race with each other as teammates. Um, and then Kimi Antonelli is surprisingly doing really well, but next year look for Williams. I mean, if Williams can get that number 5 spot, maybe number 4 spot, it's possible they could get that number 4 spot as well too. Honestly, because I'm not that far behind from Ferrari to be honest. Um, Actually, wait, hold on. Was it Ferrari from Red Bull? I mean, sorry. Depending on how. Well, no, actually, they are far away. They're not going to catch the number 4 spot, but they can still get the number 5 spot easily. The They'll easily capture the number 5 spot. Alex is basically getting better. Look for signs next year. It takes him a year to like get used to the car and the people and his people there. That the following year he'll do much better. Next year it'll be interesting to see how it works out with Mercedes, Red Bull. I don't know what happens. Ferrari. It'll be interesting to see how Ferrari adapts now because everyone, again, I think everyone thought Ferrari was going to be at least the number 2 spot. It was going to be between Ferrari and McLaren for the number 2 or number 1 spot, and Red Bull was going to be like in there as well too with the mix. But reality is like it all also depended on Max winning all these races, and he didn't win as many as we didn't expect it to be. But in any situation, it'll be interesting to see what happens in Austin. In Austin, look for Max to win the race. Look for Oscar and Lando to fight out for probably the number 3 spot. Because I think what's going to happen in the number 2 spot is basically it's probably going to come down to either, basically either, either Russell or maybe Leclerc, depending. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if Hamilton comes out of nowhere and does this, but in reality is Hamilton, I think he needs another year to get used to that car. I don't want to say his skill is diminishing, but it seems like he's losing his edge. What made him him? Let's be honest. He's an arrogant prick, a great driver, but an arrogant prick. And the best and the thing is like you started with him when he was with McLaren himself with Alonso. He was an upcoming starter, rookie practically, won it. He didn't care about Alonso. He's like, forget this. I'm on my own. I'm doing this. Similar to when he got to Mercedes, he didn't. Him and Nico Rosberg were like friends. Let's be honest, they were really good friends. And then after they started racing against each other and going for that championship, that friendship pretty much died. And that was more of like Hamilton being a prick that he was, basically. And the other aspect is like, Hamilton, you don't see him being that with Leclerc. It looks like he's just letting Leclerc being who he is. He's not creating that edge that he needs. He's not being that dick that he needs to be to his teammate and to the rest of the team is like, look, I'm the GOAT. Let me win. Help me win. Max, he's a dick. He's a dick as well too. And like, especially on the racetrack, he'll just blame and bitch people out basically. Problem is like, he's got the talent, but the problem is he always keeps regressing back to when he was a rookie, and he will just keep constantly bitching and complaining. That's one of his big negatives. That if he controls that and stops bitching at his people, I think he becomes a great driver as well too. He can definitely surpass Hamilton at that point. The question is now will Red Bull be able to surpass that? Because now that Horner is no longer there, because with Horner he was always controlling the car, and he was able to do what needs to be done with the car. Do not be surprised if I wouldn't be surprised if Ferrari actually tries to get Horner. If I'm Ferrari, try to get Horner on your be your team principal, because with him there, he will make Ferrari and restore Ferrari to what they need to be or what they were basically. Let's be honest. This is a man that recognizes talent, and he knows how to make these cars better, and he knows the right people to get on board to bring them and make them better. But like I said, it's definitely going to be either Piastri, Oscar, or Lando. I want to say Oscar is going to win it probably, but it all depends on how Max finishes with the next two races. If Max can win the next two races, then I think he can win the other two races outside of Austin and Mexico. I think he'll probably win. Then probably, um, I think yeah, he probably could win. I think yeah. Wait, hold on, was it Mexico, Brazil, and Vegas? I think Vegas that was him too, right? That was him last year. Qatar and Abu Dhabi. That's going to be a little tough one for the turns that they have at Abu Dhabi. It should benefit more towards or lean more towards Ferrari, but Vegas it should. I think it'd probably be probably geared towards McLaren over Red Bull because their car is not as fast as it used to be. But with Brazil, I think that favors Red Bull with their track as well as Mexico. Um, with basically what's their names? With Austin, probably favors Mercedes car more than anything else. But I mean, like I said, it's going to be an interesting next six races to see how this plays out. I mean, if Oscar does win at least two of these races out of these six, if he wins two of the races, then he's pretty much got a lockdown. I think, depending on how Landis, of course, plays at that point as well too. But outside of that, I'll leave it at that. Let me know your thoughts. I mean, I haven't really talked much about Formula One because I've been mostly focused on the Mets and the Giants, New York Giants. But let me know your thoughts. With that, I'll leave it at that. Unfiltered, unedited, of course, always unrehearsed. Until next time.